In America, everyone counts, and the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Respond today online, by phone, or by mail, and help inform hundreds of billions in funding for education, health programs, and more. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov.
All right, folks, Essence Magazine has released their statement regarding the independent review. You might remember back in June, actually in May, a group of anonymous current and former staffers released a post in Medium alleging any number of things, including sexual harassment, alleging that the magazine had engaged in a toxic workplace. They also did all kinds of different things. And so this is the statement that they released. They hired a law firm, Morgan Lewis, to complete this investigation. And it said this statement serves as a second and final update regarding two comprehensive and independent reviews launched by Essence following anonymous accusations leveled in a June 28th blog post against the company, its ownership, and executive leadership. Essence engaged the law firms Proskauer, Rose, and Morgan Lewis to investigate claims of sexual harassment and other workplace culture issues, respectively. Essence's interim CEO, Caroline Wanga, oversaw the full independent process. What they said is that the allegations could not be substantiated. The sexual harassment allegations against Richelieu Dennis, the owner of Essence, could not be substantiated. There were no witnesses that provided anything to support the allegations. Also in here, they said that after a thorough review of the documents and information collected in our interviews, there was nothing to substantiate the claims that Richelieu Dennis bought the silence of employees, appointed his wife to head HR in order to curb employee complaints, or tried to force employees to sign NDAs after a string of layoffs and potentially libelous business activity. It says, in fact, no witness revealed any instance of feeling silenced directly or indirectly by Mr. Dennis. Also, according to their statement, according to board member and former Chief Executive Officer Michelle Ebanks, they did not find any evidence to support the assertions that Ms. Ebanks bullied employees, laid off employees based on maternity leave, or overlooked qualified black candidates for promotion. Former Chief Operating Officer Joy Collins Profit said, we did not discover any facts to suggest that Ms. Profit's leadership and handling of HR functions created operational vulnerabilities as alleged in the post. Regarding Chief Content and Creative Officer Moana Liu, our investigation did not find that Ms. Liu treated anyone differently based on any protected category or retaliated against anyone for engaging in legal protected activities. They said that the investigation found that several witnesses reported hearing her make insensitive remarks. The investigation also found that some employees working under her feel her management style is intimidating and brash. Ms. Liu is adamant that it is not her intent to bully anyone. Further, regarding the claim that Ms. Liu and Mr. Dennis had a personal relationship, the investigation found that there is no evidence that they had a personal relationship or that they even knew each other before Ms. Liu joined Essence. Regarding the claims of an unhealthy work culture as to pay inequity, we did not receive any concrete examples of alleged pay inequity. And for the few employees who felt they were unfairly paid, we reviewed salary information and market data, and we were not able to substantiate these claims. With respect to colorism and classism, we did not receive any reports of colorism or classism in our interviews and were unable to substantiate these claims. It says the investigation did not find any evidence of conduct that would amount to unlawful discrimination, harassment, or retaliation. However, it substantiated, quote, a widely shared sentiment that employees feel overworked and underappreciated, largely due to how they feel about work pressure, work-life balance, recognition, performance management, and transparency regarding compensation and advancement. The review acknowledged that, quote, many of the issues that employees feel contribute to the work culture existed under Time Inc.'s ownership before Essence was acquired in 2018. So here's the question, and there were other things that are in here, and it says that Dennis Richelieu will continue in his capacity as owner and chair of Essence, and Wanga will continue in her interim CEO role. This is what this raises. Now, the group, Misha, that submitted, that posted this claim, they also have an Instagram account. There's been no response to this. Now, granted, this was, of course, firm hired by Essence. They laid it out. They said they want to be transparent.
Right.
No, but here's the question. The question is this here, though. The allegations that they made on June 28th, serious allegations. The question is, will they now come out with a statement? And if they don't come out with a statement, do we treat what they said as lies? And does it also cause pause for anybody to report these type of things in the future? Because it's very easy to make an allegation, but according to this report, nothing can be substantiated. So the people who made the allegation, they now should come forward and even reveal themselves. Absolutely. If they have information, yes or no.
No, you're absolutely correct, because this puts them in a very interesting position. I was all in, after, like many people were, after reading the initial allegations, because they were so descriptive. They were very much meaning of and attack worthy, specifically around the sexual harassment, but also around people getting fired because they were pregnant, and, cases of workplace brutality and these other issues. And I think that, that the threats that they lodged, because, there was a point where they said, by a certain day, we're going to release names, or we're going to come out with more things that these people don't resign, or if you don't get rid of the CEO and a few other people down that line. And right now we're seeing from an independent investigation, yes, Essence hired an outside firm to do the work, like Fox has done when they've been accused of things as well, and kind of like any network or publication does when they get these types of allegations, they take them seriously, and they have to. But what we're going to see, I think, is a response from these women, because if there isn't, then you're right. To your point, this whole thing goes into, okay, well, a group of people decided to lie for whatever reason and try to take down the magazine. But the bigger issue would be for those who are being abused in their workplace, because we know that several people across media channels have spoken out, and several people are afraid to speak out because of the power of the executives in front of them. In this case, I think that there was a lot of attention paid to what was going on at Essence, or what was alleged to have gone on at Essence. They got a lot of attention from that Medium article, and now the ball is in the court of the accusers to come forward, or at least provide whatever evidence they feel that they have. And that's going to be hard to do at this point, because after an independent investigation found absolutely nothing, not even a hint of what they were saying was there, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. And the fact that they haven't said anything already, I think, is also questionable. Because remember, when they announced these allegations, right, there was a very strict timeline around the time that they wanted Essence to respond. Now the ball is in their court. Did these things really happen? If they did, where's the evidence of it?
Joseph, I am on the page on Instagram, the Take Back Essence page. And on this page, again, they have June 28th, BFA exposed abuses at Essence demanding removal of C-suite. Then they have on here July 3rd, Essence C-suite surrendered. It's still hashtag protect black women. Now, when you click this, they released a statement on July 2nd. Today is September 11th. They haven't said anything in 2 months. If you look at what they laid out a number of different things that they wanted. So, do you believe that, again, folks don't want to call out? They want to believe. Certainly, folks say we want to believe women, but you kind of also got to back up your claims when you throw some stuff out there. And for them all of a sudden to go silent after 2 months, after the New York Post has picked it up, after the New York Times has picked it up. If you also on their page, go back to my iPad, you see here, well, they targeted sponsors of Essence. You see Laisha Ward there with Target. You see an executive with AT&T. You see all of this. And so how then do we in the future treat some group that comes out anonymous? And this is not just, oh, they're a black media company, but the fact is, all right, you kind of got to back up what you alleged.
Well, and that's part of the problem, is that not only have they promised receipts and not delivered on that, they named names, and they also failed to deliver on their own timeline. So you have two problems here as I see it. The first is the lie is always stickier than the truth, or I should say usually stickier than the truth. So people tend to remember the headlines about the scandal. They don't always necessarily pick up on the fact that the scandal investigation, or the investigation of the scandal, revealed a big nothing burger in there. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is, as you allege, it's going to make it that much more difficult the next time serious, real allegations come along. The next time somebody really does have a complaint and wants to use the shield of anonymity for fear of actual literal retribution. So this is a big problem for the accusers, and I'm like Alicia. I think they're going to remain undercover because they've got nothing here. And if they come out, they're going to be the subject of ridicule. If they're made to answer for these accusations, it's going to be a major problem for them. It's easier to accuse, again, behind the shield of anonymity than it is to reconcile with the truth or give their version of the truth. There
were things that they said. Again, they accused the CEO owner. They accused the owner of the magazine of sexual harassment. Right. Accused him of cheating with the staffer. Then accused the former CEO of berating people if somebody was on maternity leave, telling the people that they could walk out of the door. I mean, when you listen to these allegations, they sort of laid out, again, this real toxic workplace. And again, I totally understand that this was an investigation done by a group hired by Essence.
Yeah.
The problem is, this anonymous group, they've said nothing in 2 months.
Yeah.
Now, Essence released a previous statement in August, okay, that dealt with the sexual harassment issue. Now this second part. And so for this group to say nothing for 2 months, the question is this here. If you're the CEO of Essence, who gives you an apology? If you're Michelle E. Banks, the former CEO, who apologizes to you? If you're Joy Prophet, who apologizes to you? Who says, oh yeah, I know we accuse you of these things, but it really wasn't true? And what this really hurts, and who this really hurts, the next time somebody else, whether it's Me Too or any other group, make allegations, folks are gonna be like, last time we reported this, and there was no fire where we thought there was smoke.
Bruh, I agree with you 100% on everything you said, which is surprising. But at the same time, you got to wonder, was this a real group that put these things out there? Was it something to destroy Essence magazine? And so this is why I got a problem with people, who put these kind of things out, these so-called whistleblowers. You whistleblowers need to come forward. We should be able to see and view the people who are accusing us. And so as everything that Misha said, everything that George said, everything you said, I agree with, man. And so it's going to make it difficult for the next person to come through to file something like this or to say something like this happened. But more importantly, these people's reputations have been damaged by who? And so there's no retribution for them and there's no apology for them. And so they have to just walk away and say, yo, it didn't happen. We had investigators say it didn't happen, but we still don't know who accused us of it. And for all we know, it could have been just someone that came in and just trying to, again, take down Essence magazine. And that's just unfortunate because people should not be able to put stuff out there like that without coming forward and saying who they are anonymously.
Joseph, does it also call for the folks at Medium to put some? This is why you have editorial restraint. Because basically with Medium, anybody can post anything. There's no vetting. There's no nothing.
Right.
Well, and if I were Essence, I might be stroking my chin and thinking about, well, what kind of action needs to be taken against a company that will put this stuff out there without verification? Is there any journalistic responsibility on Medium's part, and are they liable for these fictions apparently that have been laid on Essence's name? I think that it's a very appropriate question, and I think if I were advising them legally, I'd have their legal team look into it. Because this also could hurt the next person that comes along that can post anything they want on Medium and have no retribution for it.
And Amisha, again, if the women who made these allegations, if they've got something, I'm sorry, it is disrespectful and wrong to go silent for 2 months. It's disrespectful after Essence releases the first statement. Hey, come out and say we didn't trust the law firm and we were not going to talk to them and share it. Okay, fine. Take it to an outside attorney. Take it somewhere else. But for 2 months to go by and nothing, no Medium post, nothing on Instagram, nothing. They brought severe damage to the personal reputation of the people involved and the magazine and sponsors. And here's the deal. You don't get to unwind that. For the rest, and this is the thing that people don't understand. For the rest of eternity, when somebody Googles Richelieu Dennis, this is going to pop up. So,
sure.
and that's the damage that's caused when allegations are made that cannot be substantiated. And again, hey, if they got proof, it's time to present it. Otherwise, what they posted was a lie.
You're absolutely correct. And again, the post was so detailed in its allegations that it raised the ire of so many people. And, it seemed like a Me Too hodgepodge of so many things going on at once, between workplace violations and sexual harassment to, a litany of abuses for pregnant women, people getting fired without cause, or people not having, pay equity. There was so much in there. And for them to have been so stark, I think, in their demands and telling people that they wanted this person to resign, they want the CEO out, they wanted other C-suite executives out as well, within a deadline of less than a week, or they were going to release more information in all of this. And I think that, it was a very strategic plan to try to push Essence and to show their hands to a certain extent. And they had to know that an independent investigation was going to go on at some point. They had to know that they would have to provide evidence. And to your point, Roland, if it was a matter of them not necessarily trusting the firm that Essence brought in, this is the point where you suggest to have something else. This is the point where you start, leaking other things. This is the point where you respond. This isn't the point where you fall dead since June and don't say anything after basically calling to question the integrity of Essence's corporate culture, and also pushing so hard against Essence at the height of the Essence Fest. Let's be mindful of the time at which this information was released.
Right.
It was during the first couple of days of Essence Fest. They also targeted the advertisers and sponsors, and they really wanted to serve as a basically nail in the coffin of Essence, which is one of our strongest and longest running Black magazines. And it's one of those situations where now there are rightful questions coming out of this, because if these allegations are true, or if they have any inch in fact, it would seem that the women who are making them would not be silent right now. They would have something to say as to why either they didn't present certain things to this independent firm, or what is next to come. Because if not, what's going to end up happening is a lot of defamation and a lot of pushback. But to your point, even with those things, once the information is out there, it's out there. There's damage done to the reputation of Essence. There's damage done to the reputation of those who were called out in that Medium article, regardless of whether these women come forward or not.
Look, I have used anonymous sources. I have done stories using anonymous sources. And the reality is, when you're a journalist, you're also staking your credibility when somebody is an anonymous source. There's a vetting process. I would dare say, when you talk about Medium, look, you simply cannot have an outlet, I don't care what they are, where somebody can post whatever they want, and then people pick up and they run with it, and it's on social media, and all of a sudden other mainstream outlets pick it up and treat it as serious. And again, the damage here is that the next time somebody has some allegations, folks are going to say, you know what, I'm not going to report that. I'm not going to do a story on that, because frankly, all you telling me is just take your word for it. No, that standard, a real standard has to be applied, and I just think it is shameful. It is shameful that Black Female Anonymous, and again, they could be watching and be pissed off at me right now, but I'm sorry, you had better say something. We got this email. We got this email from the folks at Essence. On Monday. On Monday. 4 days have gone by. Nothing. Not a word. Not even a notice saying, hey, we're going to comment next week. Nothing. Derek, final comment.
I was just going to say, Roland, it just got what I said in the beginning. It just kind of makes you wonder, was this real? Who are these people? Was it a real organization?
Here's the deal. You don't know. You don't know because it's anonymous.
Trying to take down Essence.
You don't even know if they're Black females.
You don't know. Right. We don't know if they're actual Black females. We don't know if they actually work there. We don't know who it is. And that's the deal. And again, you hurt the reputations of the individuals. You hurt the reputation. And one of their demands was for Richelieu Dennis to sell the magazine.
Right.
Well, that's a hostage note. That's not an expose. That's what that is. That's a hostage.
And
So-
like Misha said,
It's a
they
weird
did it at the
demand in
height of
general.
Essence Fest.
Yeah, no. It was by design to inflict serious damage because you were targeting the advertisers of the very festival that they were putting on. So again, hey, take back Essence on Instagram. Say something. Say something. Come out and say something. Because if you say nothing, frankly, the allegations were
speaks
trash.
louder.
The allegations were trash. And your silence admits the allegation was trash. And that is shameful and despicable. If you stand by it, stand by it. Release a statement. Say something. But you don't all of a sudden go silent. Because you damn sure weren't silent in the Medium post. You damn sure weren't silent on the Instagram post. But now all of a sudden, when the rubber meets the road, now you have no voice. No, that's not protecting black women. That's using black women. And again, if you got proof, put up, because you clearly have shut up.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. As our community comes together to support the fight against racial injustice, I want to take a second to talk about one thing we can do to ensure our voices are heard. Not tomorrow, but now. Have your voices heard in terms of what kind of future we want by taking the 2020 census today at 2020census.gov? Now, folks, let me help you out. The census is a count of everyone living in the country. It happens once every 10 years. It is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. The thing that's important is that the census informs funding, billions of dollars, how they are spent in our communities every single year. I grew up in Clinton Park in Houston, Texas, and we wanted new parks and roads and a senior citizen center. Well, the census helps inform all of that and where funding goes. It also determines how many seats your state will get in the U.S. House of Representatives. Young black men and young children of color are historically undercounted, which means a potential loss of funding for services that helps our community. Folks, we have the power to change that. We have the power to help determine where hundreds of billions in federal funding go each year for the next 10 years. Funding that can impact our community, our neighborhoods, and our families and friends. Folks, responses are 100% confidential and can't be shared with your landlord, law enforcement, or any government agency. So please, take the 2020 census today. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov.